water will harden. So, like the beautiful variegated pittosporum or, some Rhaphioliptus or any of the cuttings that you might have in the garden, right? Don't hesitate in using that. Obviously, try to, trim some of the more mature or the hardened greens. But if you're going to use some of that fresh spring greens, that's a great way to help make sure that gets handled properly. Some pretty lotus pods. Go ahead and just tuck this down low, give us a little bit more detail at our base. And a little layered effect. These come in from Singapore for us. It's amazing where all of our product gets sourced from. And then last night I heard that the volcano in Iceland was erupting again. So then you may not think necessarily about it in that way, but it totally affected us a couple weeks ago, right? Because we had huge weddings two Saturdays ago, and I had pre-ordered all my tulips and all my hydrangeas and all my orchids, right? They never arrived. And so quickly we had to work on our California sources, and which we did a pretty good job. We were able to cover it. But like, for example, that beautiful dark, chartreuse green Cymbidium orchid was exactly what the bride had expected that Saturday. And I thought that we had secured it, and okay, good, we're all cool. And come Thursday morning, my boxes come, and it's a light green, almost white, right? Instead of the dark green. And at that point, everybody else had been in the same mode as we had to try to secure California and domestic product. So, so with that, we had a slight compromise.
Was she happy with the arrangement?
I'm sorry?
Was the bride happy?
She was very happy. We only have happy brides. We're not allowed to have any other. Clean this up a little bit. Add another. As for this relief over on this side. What's fun about this arrangement is this is going to last quite a while, right? Even as the iris concludes, the architectural elements of those foliages will give me a great line. The bells of Ireland, probably a couple weeks, as long as I kept my water source nice and strong. And my foliages would, I think would still look quite nice. So a couple weeks, 3 weeks wouldn't be out of line for the enjoyment of this arrangement. And I think that looks nice. All right. Kind of have fun with this guy first, and then we'll move on. So, just as a little, this is a little thing, and I'm just going to pull right back out and then do something totally different. But I just kind of wanted to know, one of the things that we love to do is submerge, right? So, taking a beautiful orchid, a beautiful cylinder vase, and maybe, submerging the orchid, just keeping very, very simple, right? Maybe a few polished rock, maybe a few, gemstones inside of that, and just letting that be. A couple drops of bleach in that water. This will last probably, 5 days, something like that. So it's not going to last as long as the stem would be out of the water, right? But if you're entertaining and you're setting that dining room table and you wanted to have something that was kind of a little bit interesting, doing a series of some cylinder vases with the submerged orchids can just be so effective, right? So then, if the vase was a little bit taller, doing a floating candle to the top of that, and all of a sudden having these beautiful, floating candles on the top of that table can be a great, great look. So, I'm going to carefully. Kind of like a porcupine, only goes one way. So then just take that whole concept, a little bit further. And we were doing an event at the Fairmont for Prize Electronics, and we had you kind of dial in one of the big suites upstairs. We didn't have a huge budget to do it in. But so what we also did is we just did, a series of vases on the mantle just with the fresh fern, right? I mean, how simple is that, right? Pennies for that look. But, doing a great mantle with a series of some vases. We've got even, much large vases that sat on the floor that we submerged, some of the foliages. Can be a great, great Japanese Aurelia leaves, right? You're probably even looking at maybe even a couple weeks. Your maintenance is going to be keeping the water clean. It's not, maintaining those foliages. So, with the beautiful, artwork and the accessories you have in your home, sometimes you need a little bit of fresh element, but maybe a flower isn't quite right element to do that. But a little bit of foliage, giving it a little bit of an architectural little design element can be really quite fun. So anyways, I just wanted to kind of point that out. We'll even take something as simple as Gerber daisies, right? I don't have any with me today, but just a cut-off cylinder base, maybe something, on this line here, and I'll oftentimes have 3 of these on my table and I'll just float a Gerber daisy on my kitchen table where we have dinner every night. How simple is that, right? $1.50 a bloom, $4.50 for that table, and I have color in my house all the time, right? So